You're just in time for the roll call. That's great. Call to order this Wednesday, September 11th meeting of the Lancaster Criminal Justice Commission. With a roll call, please.
Commissioner Brown?
Here.
Shillette?
Here.
Pickens? Here. Smith?
Present.
Leskinses? Vice Chairman Fuller?
Present.
Chairman Vieira? We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please rise for the invocation by Wade Little from Los Angeles County Fire Chaplain. Commissioner Pickens, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think so. We got enough going on. We get to maybe at the end. We have no presentations that I can see, right? Do we have any speaker cards, public business? So we don't really need to read that then? Okay. Consent calendar, CC1, has everyone had a chance to take a look at the minutes of our meeting from August 14th, 2013? And if so, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Approved by Newton Shillette. Do I have a second? We have a second. Any comments? Please vote. Passed. Thank you very much. Commission staff presentations. We'll start with the monthly crime statistics. Jim Cobalt.
Thank you, Vice Chair Fuller. Commissioners, this report is for the time period August 4th to August 31st, 2013. Essentially what we see here in the 4 weeks of this report is we have our usual slight bump from the normally associated with the Antelope Valley Fair. This is pretty cyclical. We know this is going to happen every year, and it did happen again this year. So we're up a little bit. When you take a look at our weekly averages, in August we had a weekly average of 78.2, a weekly median of 82. In the September report, we have a weekly average of 80 Part 1 crimes per week and a weekly median of 82, which is essentially the same as last reporting period. Take a look at the month-to-month by year. You can see that for August of 2013, we're up 6% from August of 2012. Our crime rate right now from September 2012 to August 2013 is 268.8, which is up 1.7 point from August 2013 report. And just as a reminder, our crime rate for 2012 was 279.93, so we're making some good progress there. Our most active reporting districts are listed here. It's your discretion, Chairman Fuller, if you want to see a breakdown by reporting district, so I'll be happy to do that. If you want me to move on, I'll be happy to do that too.
I think we can move on today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Our residence burglary reporting districts are 1127, 1133, and 1135. For larcenies involving vehicles, we're 1137, 1126, and 1133. Our trends, the 52-week trend for the crimes trending up, we can see rape. We had that 1 week where we had 4 reported sexual assaults, and that's driving everything on this end of the 52 weeks, so it's showing an upward trend right now. As far as aggravated assaults go, we're seeing a slight upward trend there, but still the blue line up there is 15.09 assaults per week. You can still see we're well below the blue line. Same way with burglary. We have gone over the blue line a couple of times, but primarily we still stay below that. Larceny, same issue. We had a few weeks back in the early part of the year where we went over the blue line a few times, and that's still holding us up. If we continue with the way we're going right now, within another few weeks or another month or so, we should start to see that decline. Trending down, we can see homicides trending down, robbery is trending down, grand theft auto is trending down, and arson is trending down. This is the map of the measurement period. There were 320 Part 1 crimes included on this particular map. This is our spatial trend analysis. This shows us during the reporting period where crime went up and where crime went down as we look at it around the city. This is the repeat call period for that for this reporting period. Nothing really new jumps onto this that hasn't been there in the previous reporting periods. And you have a copy of it in front of you as well. This is the map, how it lays out over this measurement period. Excuse me, and this is our forecast. We're forecasting for September 378 Part 1 crimes. For August, we forecasted 371. We had an actual of 391, which gives us a forecast accuracy of 95%. That's it. Questions?
Questions, comments?
I just have one question on the repeat calls. Do we have any statistics on how many people were actually cited or arrested? Like 66 at the hospital, or?
No, and the reason why the hospital will always lead the way for us significantly, and the reason for that is there are mandatory things that they must report to law enforcement, and they don't have any discretion on it, so they will always lead the way. That's the one central point that we've identified in the city where those things happen. As far as the other locations, no, we don't, as a routine matter, track arrests associated with those, and the reason why we don't do that is because we don't want people to fear calling the police. We want them to call, and that's one of the reasons why we probably don't make an issue out of that.
I was thinking like the 7-11, 17 times. I wonder if, how many arrests were?
Well, quite honestly, it could be an alarm, but quite honestly, if they're calling 17 times, places like that, the gas stations on corners and things like that, we're looking at trying to clean some of those areas up, and I'm just really thankful that the...
No, I
that the
agree. I
folks are-
think it's a good thing. I'm just wondering if it resulted in actual arrests.
All right, go ahead.
Actually, I'll be talking about, and what I'd like to bring for the agenda with the permission of the commission, is an anti-truancy project that we're going to be developing, we're currently developing for, and with the project slated for a test with Antelope Valley High School. That 7-Eleven, for example, has a high rate of usually daytime truants. Students that are hanging out in that area are associated with like Desert Winds High School. So this should be, they're working cooperatively with us right now to address that issue as we've kicked off the new school year. So
they're helping to report the truants.
correct.
Oh, great.
So what we can do is we can certainly, if there's an arrest or something tied to those locations, that's something we can bring forward if you wish.
And we're also pushing that in our business improvement group meetings, making the businesses aware that these kids can't be out and about between 7:30 and 2:30 on days of school, and we're really encouraging them to call. So we're going to see some calls, particularly at the Targets and the Walmarts and stuff like that.
Would you contribute the success of the BIG program to the downward trend in theft and robbery, or?
I don't think we can correlate that yet. What we're trying to do is we're trying to bring those groups together so they can be a more cohesive group at their particular locations, and we've had good success with that at 10th Street West and Avenue K, and we're now going to be expanding it over to Valley Central Way, and then the last on our project will be over at 20th East and Avenue J.
Oh, yeah.
No further comments? Well, thank you very much. Normally, at this point, we would go to arrest statistics, and you might have noticed that we're a little light today. There are people that would normally be here that could not make it. We don't have presentation. There's other things, and there's obviously good reasons for that, being September 11th and the anniversary of that horrible attack that happened to us. And anyone who was old enough at that time to understand what was happening to our country certainly could not wake up this morning and not think of the significance that that event had on our country and in our lives. So many of those people, especially those in law enforcement, are appropriately involved in other activities today. And as I woke up this morning and thinking to myself how I'm attending a criminal justice commission, I couldn't help being thankful that we have this forum, that with everything else that may be going wrong with our country and other problems that we might have, that here we sit and giving our citizens a public forum to discuss issues of common concern, to express their opinions without fear of reprisal. So in that spirit, we'll continue, but we do not have a presentation today from Los Angeles County Sheriff. I'd like to go forward to California Highway Patrol.
I'm Lieutenant Eric Bernier with the California Highway Patrol. Captain Jacobs is at a ceremony that's taking place at the moment, and so I'm filled in. Our statistics for the last, basically over the last month, I'll give you some overall statistics so far year-to-date statistics. Our fatal collisions, unfortunately, are up from 12 by 2 currently. We have 16 fatal collisions thus far, and obviously one is too many, but we will really can to bring those down. Unfortunately, they've been kind of random locations throughout the valley, and there isn't really a pattern or a trend between that.
Oh, sorry about that. There isn't really much of a pattern or a trend that we can point to in the majority of those collisions. The injury traffic collisions are also up slightly. We had 267. That's up from 247 in 2012. Our property damage collisions, however, are drastically down, 44.8% from 2012. The DUI arrests are down to 354 versus 371 in 2012. Motorist services that we provide to motorists are up 16%, which is a good thing for us. And the Labor Day holiday weekend, we had some good news. We had no fatalities over the weekend, which is always we had a maximum enforcement period where we had several more units than usual out there conducting enforcement. And we also did have a DUI checkpoint just prior to the beginning of the holiday weekend. And so the word was put out there through that and through other education efforts that we made, contacts with the media, and so we were able to go through the whole weekend without a fatality. I would also like to point out that overall in Southern Division, that's the whole LA County area, there were only 2 fatalities over that weekend. So overall we did pretty well in this area. As a reminder, we are recruiting starting tomorrow, September 12th, all the way through the 14th. They're going to accept online applications for our department, so if any of you know people that might be interested in a career with our department, that is taking place starting tomorrow. They can go to our website and fill out an online application. If there are any other questions, I can answer those for you.
Questions, comments? Thank you, and your timing is impeccable as well. We have an update from our district attorney's office.
Yes, good morning, everybody. I apologize on being late. I was at a 9/11 remembrance ceremony. I do have an update. I arrived on April 8th here in the Antelope Valley to supervise this branch of the district attorney's office, and I have found that the Antelope Valley branch is one of the busiest in Los Angeles County. It files an extremely large number of criminal cases, and we also prosecute one of the highest number of jury trials in all of Los Angeles County. So when I arrived, it was important to me to improve the efficiency of the branch to ensure that we were serving the residents of this community to the best of our ability. And I reorganized the branch after analyzing it, and I also reorganized its procedures, and those are now bearing fruit from those changes. I gathered statistics from the date I began leading the branch on April 8th, and I followed those numbers all the way through August 31st, because those are the most recent statistics available. And I compared it to the same time period last year so we can have some type of meaningful comparison. What I found is that we have shown marked improvement, and it is measurable. The number of criminal trials that we prosecuted during that time frame increased from 63 to 71, which was a 12% increase, and we were able to accomplish that with the same number of personnel that we had last year. And even while increasing the total number of trials, the conviction rate increased from under 70% to almost 80% this year. So we are showing improvement in the courtroom, but I realize that success in the courtroom is not enough. What we need to use the district attorney's office for is not merely punishment, but also to deter future crime. And in that way, we'll improve the community for everyone. In order to accomplish these goals, I implemented 2 policies to improve the quality of life for residents of the Antelope Valley. The first one was in regard to residential burglaries that I had previously discussed, that everyone who commits a residential burglary must go to state prison unless I say otherwise. And I've directed all of my prosecutors to follow that policy. The second area is in regard to graffiti. Now, with graffiti, being a gang prosecutor for 9 years, it's always been extremely important to me. Because with graffiti, it instills fear in the community, it impacts property values, it is also expensive to eradicate, and finally, it breeds gang violence. So as of this last Friday, I issued a new directive to all of the prosecutors at the Antelope Valley branch that on every criminal prosecution for either graffiti or possession of graffiti tools, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, every defendant must go to county jail and serve time in custody, and unless I say otherwise. So I think that this will be important, and it also will help us pursue our goal of improving the community and protecting public safety for everyone here in the Antelope Valley. Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. Any comments, questions? Yeah, thank you. Mr. Dorico, Business Watch Subcommittee Public Safety Update.
Yes, sir. I'm glad you brought up the big program, Commissioner Pickens. Actually, it's been really working well. As you know, initially when you start a program like that and we bring that emphasis to those business owners and empower them on what is appropriate to call for and what's not, we're going to drive some of our numbers up initially. And it's probably what you can see, we have a slight uptick with as it relates to larcenies, and I believe that's directly related to the quality of the reporting that's taking place and the response of law enforcement. The meetings are still continuing for the first group on 10th Weston Avenue K. They had their last meeting on August 28th, and they're scheduled to have another meeting at the Stanley Kleiner Building at Lancaster City Park on September 26th. Also, the group that's meeting for Valley Central Way, Area 2, will have their meeting also September 26th from 1 to 2 p.m. at the PEC over on Valley Central Way. So it's nice to see the enthusiasm of the business community out there to participate in this and learn strategies to help deal with issues that are around their businesses. Neighborhood Watch is expanding. Actually, we have just recently had a meeting the other day here at Jane Reynolds Park for our downtown neighborhoods here south of the boulevard. As you see, it's kind of nice to drive into the older neighborhoods here from downtown and see some of the remarkable remodeling that's going on in some of the older homes. Some of those homes that, and talking to folks in the neighborhood, are living in homes that they've refurbished that are as old as 1912. Pretty amazing to drive around down there and see what's happening, especially towards Beach and Cedar and Date Avenues, specifically from Oldfield north to the boulevard. So we're trying to actively get some neighborhood watch groups going in that specific area, especially since they've invested some significant money into their homes. I'm glad you brought up graffiti. The district attorney has absolutely set a precedent here that's being ran clearly through the courts. I've been approached recently by the juvenile court to have a meeting on a proactive model for graffiti prevention from the actual judges themselves who want to be involved in this process. I will tell you that, and I've brought this forward before, last year the city of Lancaster, just from our public works crew, cleaned up over 28,000 incidents of graffiti throughout our city in one single year. So we've met recently. We've come up with some strategies working with our graffiti crew and our other public works department members, as well as the sheriff's department and the community, to emphasize graffiti as a focus for the remainder of this year. And then Amy Vasquez will be working very closely with those deputies from the court and top team as we develop those cases and present them to the district attorney. Okay, we have a couple things on the agenda. We have coming up closely, in the near future, we have the Unite program. The Unite program is a neighborhood improvement program that's administered in cooperation with the Neighborhood Vitalization Commission. We are focusing on the Desert View and Mariposa areas at this time. We've put a significant amount of resources over there and cleaning those neighborhoods out of the criminal element. We've been quite successful at that. Now what we're going in now is bringing the ownership of that neighborhood to the community, and there'll be 7 different projects in that area, and that'll take place. In fact, Jennifer Priscaro has one of the projects for the Unite program that she's running, and then we use staff members from within the city and different representatives from different departments within the city that work with the community on these projects, so for neighborhood improvement. So that'll be going on all day in different parts of those neighborhoods. We also have Celebrate America this Saturday on the boulevard. It starts at 5 o'clock. It goes from 5 to 9 o'clock. It's a great event. It's been expanded this year. We're utilizing the entire street. And this brings up an issue for our office. We work very closely with our Parks and Recs department and our Public Works department, everything, in developing operational plans with law enforcement for these programs to provide a safe environment for these events. And we're getting into quite a season now. So the next 90 days are going to be pretty busy down here, okay, and throughout the city. And then I brought up that I would like to bring forward a project that I've been working closely with the Mayor's Advisory Council, as well as the administration from the high school district and representatives from Antelope Valley High School on a truancy model that we want to implement that mirrors very similar to the parent project through the LA County District Attorney's Office. There's an emphasis on truancy that's been placed by the District Attorney's Office for some time. We've done similar projects in other cities throughout the County of Los Angeles, and we'd really like to bring something that is more appropriate for our community and tie into that community at that school. The school's done a huge turnaround model there at a significant expense to the school district without any supplemental funding to provide new resources. In fact, they completely cleaned out the staff at the school, brought in a hand-picked principal, Dr. Vieira did, and he hand-picked his staff from throughout the district and brought those individuals there. But the only way our students can benefit from those programs is by being in school, okay, as well as the ADA impact, financial impact on the district as well. So that's what we're going to push, is more in a positive approach, and I'd like to present that if that's possible, with your permission. at
Oh,
the next
absolutely.
meeting.
Yeah, that'd be wonderful.
And then you were provided numerous firework ordinances as it pertains throughout the county. Anytime the commission feels the desire to revisit that, there's quite a bit there to read, so that's why I didn't put it on the agenda for today. At your leisure, or when you think it's appropriate, we can certainly have that discussion here and go further.
Great, thank you.
That's it, sir.
That's it? That's good. Well, a lot of good news, a lot of activity taking place, so I really appreciate that and the update. Look forward to hearing more about the truancy model. You're thinking of next month to provide? That sounds great. Very good. Public business from the floor. Do we have any speaker cards? We do not, so I'm not going to read that other part then. Very good. Sort of a short meeting today. Commissioner comments. Gentlemen?
Just a comment about the DA's report. I really appreciate the fact that, when our law enforcement people are catching them, that they're going to be punished. And I just really appreciate those efforts, and I know it makes us feel better about, what we're doing.
Thank you. Any more? Given the significance of today and it being 9/11, I'd like, before we adjourn, to have a moment of silence to honor those who gave their lives 13 years ago today. Thank you very much, and with that, we are adjourned.